Well, a very good afternoon to you and welcome to the Farm Kenya Show. I'm Noah Kimbo, and today our discussion is pertinent. It is the foundation of agri-business. It is the foundation of agriculture. It's the most common environment where we grow our food globally. What am I talking about? I'm talking about soil and soil health, to be specific. And the question that we're asking you today is your soil healthy? Is your soil up to the standard that it ought to be? That is what we're going to be discussing today on the show, and we'll give you tips on how to make sure that your soil is at the quality that, that is commensurate with the productivity that we want to achieve at the end of the day. And in studio with us, we have Ephantus Maura, who's an agronomist who will help us put all this into perspective. Ephantus, before even we go deep into it, what is one misconception about soil that a lot of people who've done agriculture hold? That soil inakuanga hivi, maybe soil replenishes itself, you don't need to do much around it. What are some of these misconceptions that we're gonna be sort of breaking down in the course of the show?
Thank you. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me to talk about soil today. And one of the main misconceptions around the world is that soil is there, you just need to cultivate. It's there. So I want to sensitize everybody, every farmer, not just farmers, all the other stakeholders about the importance of knowing the status of your soil. Do you know your soil?
Definitely. Very, very important. It's not just that the soil is there, yours is just to go till it and put the seeds in it, but it needs to be taken care of.
True.
If it is to produce the way it should produce. So we'll be looking at some of those things that we need to change in our farms to make our soils better at the end of the day. So looking forward to that particular conversation. But for now, let's take a look at agri-news. And we start off from Mwea, specifically rice production. Mwea farmers are expecting a bumper harvest when it comes to rice production. And in Mutithi ward specifically, the stakeholders couldn't be higher. Actually, the stakes couldn't be higher as 1 billion shilling irrigation project nears its August 2026 completion. The local farmers, they say that this isn't just about water, it's about a massive 10,000-acre expansion that promises to turn dormant land into gold mine.
Zikiendelea kupanua skimu yetu na kutuletea ile mambo mkulima nataka, sisi tuko tayari kulima mara 3 mara 4 ili wale ambao wanaleta mchele kutoka nje sisi tuweze kujilisha sisi kama skimu na Kenya kwa jumla.
Maji ilikuwa tatizo zamani, lakini saa hii zile lining zilifanywa kidogo kidogo, sisa kufanya kazi kwa haraka na kuteremsha maji kwa haraka. Na kwa vile imefanywa section kidogo, kama serikali inaweza saidia ifanyie hii lining kidogo, iongeze lining, wakulima wako tayari kufanya kazi.
Tuko na canal, na hii canal itatusaidia sana. Juu mkulima ataongeza mazao yake. Sasa tunaomba serikali iendelee kufanya kazi, ituwekee maji ili maji ikuwe mengi, mpunga wetu uongezeke.
Now, one of the biggest issues that faces this country is high youth unemployment rates. But in Komarok, some young people are turning this narrative. How are they doing so? They're tapping into the coffee value chain and creating their own path when it comes to actually creating a job for themselves, but secondly, also creating a means and boosting agripreneurship. As these young entrepreneurs from Komarok pivot from job seekers to business owners, the specialized coffee market is becoming a fast track to financial independence. From mobile units to independent startups, they say coffee market is the next big move in the Kenyan economy.
Kenya. We're also talking to the EU as well as the government here about export licenses. We need to inform markets like the EU of what's going on here. One of the very important things about technology is...
All right, apologies for that. That has little to do with the coffee market, but we shall be coming back to that particular story later on. And I'd like us to take a look at matters to do with innovation, water to be specific, and innovation in water management are reshaping the future of agriculture in Kenya. The National Irrigation Authority has introduced a water availability and demand dashboard, popularly known as WAD dashboard, designed to modernize the planning and management of water resources and irrigation investment. Now, speaking during an event, experts highlighted that it could be a game changer for farmers and policymakers alike, aiming to bridge critical gaps in water shortage, ensuring more efficient use of Kenya's water resources. Okay, moving on swiftly, away from water, we are now moving to land. Kenya's livestock sector is set for a major transformation as a new feedlot-driven digital program promises to modernize cattle production and trade. Now, the initiative targets efficiency across the entire value chain, from feed financing and animal tagging to guaranteed digital market access, secure sales, and automated repayments, marking a step towards commercializing cattle farming and boosting incomes for Kenyan livestock producers.
It allows you to sell your animals regardless of whether it's the rainy season, the dry season, or during drought. And this ensures that you have constant income throughout the year, which means...
All right, let's head back to Komarok, where young people are innovating and they have joined the coffee value chain, creating jobs for themselves, but also boosting the overall coffee value chain. Take a look.
Barista Studio, the first anniversary of Gem Barista Studio. To our invitor, Polika, thank you so much. That was...
I've really benefited from the skills that I learned of coffee, and also I've learned like different coffees, the species, yeah.
Coffee is a leading brand as we talk, because as we go around the world, when you walk, whether it is on the plane, whether it is on the petrol stations or in the malls or in homes, it is what is trending, and it has captured the world.
All right, that is matters to do with coffee value chain. But right now, let's head to Farm Guide. On a weekly Farm Guide segment, about 30 kilometers south of Bangui, the capital of the Central African Republic, environmentalist Zanri Ngombala Samba is turning banana trunk fibers into brown paper bags. This is quite innovative. An innovation that not only recycles agricultural waste, but also helps prevent soil degradation by reducing the dumping and burning of farm residues. And this particular story, I'm going to be bringing it to you in partnership with Viori later on. But right now, let's head back to our conversation of the day. And this with Ephantus Moros, an agronomist and a man who is very passionate on matters to do with soil. Ephantus, for starters, when you talk about soil, I mean, these days there are people who've created other environments, like I see people doing hydroponics, and they have different matters that you can place your seed and it grows. But soil traditionally is what we know when it comes to planting and doing agriculture, creating an environment that is conducive for seeds to grow. Let's lay that foundation. What is soil and what is in soil? And is every soil accommodative to seed at the end of the day?
Now, when we come to soil, for myself or from the scientific bit of it, I will say soil is the beginning of life. And many will say, take care of the soil and the soil will take care of you, right? We are having even countries outside there, they are claiming land. Place where it is full of sea, they come with soil, put soil there for the sake of cultivation or agriculture, to be precise. And that is why we want to champion farmers, other stakeholders, know the status of the soil. Soil is so important. As much as you're going into the tech way of doing hydroponics and even farming in air, soil will still remain the tradition or our mother of cultivation.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah, and you know, in elementary schooling, we were taught different types of soils and the qualities that they possess when it comes to others are very sticky, others are very good for farming and whatnot. And in the context of what we're discussing today, which is agriculture, what types of soil are suitable? Because we do agriculture across the country. And when you look at our country and the soil patterns, it varies differently. So help us understand in the world of soil, which types of soils support which types of crops, locally speaking?
Now, for the soils, there are several types of soils. There is the clay soil, the loam soil, the silt soil, and in the scientific bit of it, there are what we call vertisoils. I won't go into that. I want us to remain as basic as we can for the sake of everybody can onboard this what I'm championing. So for clay soils, it is the one that retains a lot of nutrients, a lot of water, get waterlogged so easily. For the sand soils, for the clay soils, you'll find it in the areas where they do rise. This is where water is retained. It has higher cation exchange capacity, but basically what we know, there are crops that do well in clay soil. But there is also sand soil. Sand soil is basically the part of soil that has large particles, to say. For that, it is mainly used for construction. But some farmers have advanced and used it for outdoor crops like flowers that you can keep on your basement. This is because they do not retain a lot of water. And you know, that one you can keep it at your homestead or just on top of your table. The other one is the loam soil. This is the recommended soil, or what we found that we can do cultivation. And this is where, this is the epitome where many farmers or many stakeholders do their farming. This is because it is not very sandy and it is not very clay. It is there in between. And for that, it has capability of maybe having an optimum cation exchange capacity, pH, nutrients.
Well, somebody's hearing you say cation and they're wondering, what is this cutting of iron?
So,
put it simply.
Okay. Now, for the cation exchange capacity, this is the ability of any soil to hold and absorb the positively charged cations on the surrounding the soil colloid. A colloid is like a particle, a small. You see, like the way you have water molecules. A colloid is that part, that very basic part of soil. So that very basic part of soil, it has the ability to, it has a higher CEC, cation exchange capacity, or a low cation exchange capacity. For the clay, we are saying it has very high CEC. This means it has the ability to exchange cations at a very high level.
Okay.
But we are going for loam because it is not very low and it is not very high. It is optimum.
Okay.
And that is why we are saying that even for the pH, for the nutrient availability, for the microbial activity that is happening in the soil, they exist at optimum levels.
Okay. And we're going to come to that, the nitty-gritties within the soil. But broadly putting it, major classification of soils is in those three.
True.
And when it comes to agriculture, loam soil is the most common, but areas like rice growing areas, they prefer the other clay soil, which is sticky, holds hydration properly and whatnot. So within the soil world, when you put soil on a microscope and you enter the world of soil, because it looks very simple, but it's a whole ecosystem. Help us understand what is in soil. Even before we come to placing a seed in soil, what is in soil?
So, when you introduce a seed in soil, what it finds is, it finds life. What is life? Life is water, life is air. It consists, as you're saying, an ecosystem. That is why the seeds germinate in soil. It is very hard. Technology will come, yes, but it is very hard for a seed to exist in this air and germinate. Because soil, it has a self-sustaining ecosystem. It has oxygen that is needed for the growth of the seed, water, moisture, and all of that. And for that is where we are finding germination occurring. It's because of the constituents of the soil. It's because of the nutrients in the soil. And that is why we are advocating for know your soil. Do you know if it has nutrients? Know the status of your soil, please.
Yes, because I know you say there is water in there, there is air in there. There are also other living organisms in there that are very critical in growth of the seed. Help me understand how this world coexist within the soil in a manner that one is not killing the other, and even maybe using a different type of soil that is not accommodative to seeds growing, sort of as a comparison. Like here, this is why this seed is able to grow, vis-a-vis here, this is why it isn't able to grow.
For example, I want to compare sandy soil and maybe something like clay soil. In the northern part of Kenya, we are having regions that have a lot of sand, or rather, the sand there is sandy. There's not much of production happening. Although there are programs that are there, we are having farmers knowing their soil. What they do, because it's sandy, they take red soil from elsewhere, incorporate it with the sand soil for there to be germination. You know why? Sand soil, the colloids in sand soil are large, or rather the particles of sand soil are very large. And for that reason, its water holding capacity is so low. its nutrient capacity is so low. Even if we are having, if someone is farming in around northern Kenya, they are very serious about farming, they are doing heavy inputs, heavily. You're finding a farmer doing a lot of, for example, farmyard manure, heavily. Unlike a person who is in the central part of Kenya, whereby the soil is at least, let's say loamy, it's a bit loamy. Comparing to the farmer at northern Kenya, some parts of northern Kenya, the soil here is a bit aerated. It has high organic matter holding capacity, unlike the one we are comparing it with the northern Kenya.
Okay. Okay. So that is quite critical that you've mentioned that. And it brings us to the basic, because now we've established that soil is the lifeline of agriculture.
True.
We ought to treat soil properly. And our first interaction, assuming that somebody is just starting to farm or is starting this journey, you would assume you have this parcel of land. And maybe the first thing is to till. Imagine there is this land with trees, with what you've been told, okay, I want to create a farm here. From that onset, is there a right way to start it off, even from those slashing till the tilling of the land? Is there a right way to treat that soil? Or is it as basic as that, you slash and you till?
For that, I do not want to discourage a person who wants to go that direction of doing it, because success won't come. We are saying, take care of your soil and it will take care of you. So the first thing first, you're going to reclaim that land. You're going to slash, that is what you are calling reclamation. From that, know the status of your soil. Bring it to the lab. Get it tested. Get the results. If your soil has no magnesium, buy fertilizers that are high in magnesium. If it has no calcium, buy fertilizers that have high levels of calcium. If it is for pH, make sure you're interacting with agronomists, know how you're going to correct that pH. Okay? Right.
I mean, a lot of our farmers, over 80% of our farmers are smallholder farmers. A good portion of that are doing subsistence farming. So I'm farming so that I can eat. I'm growing my own products, and I'm wondering how many of these smallholder farmers are like, hey, let me test myself. Because some of us are just like, this land. I mean, my neighbor is growing something. I might as well get mbegu za skuma, nianze my small kitchen garden here. So from your observation as somebody who's in the space of doing soil tests and whatnot, is it a very common practice amongst especially the majority smallholder farmers?
It's a sad thing to say this. A lot of farmers have not been sensitized enough to know what is the importance of soil testing. You're finding a farmer, for example, I'm talking about success not coming your way, because I have come across farmers who they are intending to do, for example, maize, just an example. When they do maize, you see the process, the season is over, yields very low. And in that process of the season that is in practice, the leaves yellow, all those deficiencies, they are just there. And then the farmer has done a lot of work. And it pains me that the farmer is doing a lot for nothing. That is why, as much as you're seeing success or something good is happening around you, make sure you reach out. And I'm encouraging farmers to come. If if you are one farmer having a small land, you have your other neighbor having other small land, come as a group. Come, let us test your soil. Know the status of your soil. Know what you're going to do. Know this is what you're going to add to your land for success to come over.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to be futile, ever.
It's going to be futile. From fertile to futile.
Very.
Fantasy. Let's take a short break.
Okay.
When you come back, it will be pertinent to talk about the soil testing elements of it. Does it come with advisory in terms of, okay, your soil has these components. It will be good if you plant this. It doesn't have this. If at all you're planting this, you might need this and that added to it. So why that is critical, and also basic care of our soils other than doing the soil test. From there, how do we make sure that our soil continuously grows, it's healthy at the end of the day? Okay, so this is an ongoing conversation right here, the Farm Kenya Show. We want to take a short break, but when we come back, we still have Sauti ya Mkulima. We're going to be hearing from farmers from the ground. And other than that, a continuation of this conversation, a very soily discussion, I must say. Keep it KTN.
Kuna shida mingi hapa, wanyama wameisha. Ukileta hapa, ukenda kwa laga ama sehemu zingine, unaona mafugo imekufa.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
All right, welcome back to the Farm Kenya Show. And right now, let's take a look at Matters Farm Guide, which is our segmented feature. And today we are going all the way to the Central African Republic, where they are turning banana trunk fibers into brown pepper bags. Take a look.
We have our own plantain plantation, which provides us with raw materials. After harvesting the bananas, we use the trunks, which are agricultural waste, to make fiber and then pulp, which we use to make bags.
Notre ambition, c'est d'aller au-delà de la
Our ambition is really to position ourselves as a key player in providing a solution to plastic waste by bringing organic bags made from plantain trunks to the local market. Our ambition is to go beyond the 5 hectares we are currently cultivating here and bring together all players involved in plantain production in the Ndangala area and beyond, so that we have sufficient fiber, which is the raw material, to cover the national market and, why not, export to other countries in need, particularly Chad and other countries that do not have sustainable climate for plantains.
Pour les brand plantains. Il faudrait que le gouvernement nous accompagne en demandant à présent appliquer
The government needs to support us by enforcing the law banning plastic bags. Strict enforcement of the law will really help to eradicate plastic bags. So we are asking for the government support in helping us to sell them in the local market, to pharmacies, supermarkets, and retail outlets, so that people really do use eco-friendly bags.
Dans les supermarchés, dans les pharmacies, dans les différents points de vente, à utiliser vraiment les sacs biodégradables.
And that is in partnership with Vari that we bring you that story from the Central African Republic. In studio we have Fantas Maura, who's an agronomist, and they're talking matters to do with soil. They've mentioned something about plastic waste. I know that's one of the biggest challenges, and sort of it chokes life out of soil. Talk to me about how big a problem plastic waste is to the soil ecosystem.
For the plastic waste, there exists life in soil. I had mentioned that. So you can imagine if we are having high amounts of plastics or other, they are not degradable, found in soil. There is no life that is going to happen. What then? Decomposition cannot happen. Mm-hmm. Then what next? You're not going to have nutrients being available to the crops, or when you're cultivating or when you're planting them on your soil. Mm-hmm. And that is why each and every stakeholder, not only farmers, if you find anything that is unnecessary on the soil, that is not biodegradable, make sure you eliminate it.
Okay, that's very important. That's why we have such alternatives, and they're picking up, because if you have a bag that is biodegradable, even when disposed, at least you know it's gonna break down.
True.
And go back to the soil. But back to soil testing. So you say it's very important before you start anything on your farm, do a soil test.
True.
Now, a soil test will give you the composition of your soil, what it lacks and what it has. Why should this be important for the farmers? Is it part of decision making in regards to what they're going to plant, or sort of just to give you the power to determine what to do with the soil?
I want to take you just back a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There are two types of soil testing.
Okay.
There's the dry soil testing and there's the wet soil testing. For the dry soil testing, this is a basic way of knowing the status of your soil. If you don't want a very comprehensive result of the status of your soil. So there are gadgets out there whereby you just insert it in the soil, whereby you want to know the status, and then it tells you about the moisture content and probably the pH. For the wet soil testing, you have to take your samples to the labs. When you take your samples to the labs, they are going to test for different nutrients availability, for the pathogens and all that.
Mm-hmm. And so wet is more detailed.
True.
Does that mean also it costs more?
Probably.
How much is the soil test on average in this country?
Of course, there are several entities or organizations offering soil testing.
Mm-hmm.
But basically from 3,500 going upwards in Kenya.
Okay. A minimum of 3,500 shillings.
True.
Okay. So once you advise people to do the wet soil test, since it's more detailed compared to the dry one, definitely?
Of course. We want to know, for example, some soils may be acidic. And to know the acidity of the soil, you cannot know basically by just inserting a gadget. For that one, outright, you'll have to do a wet soil test. A company like Volt Harvest Technologies, they are doing wet soil analysis. They give the agronomic support and everything else that you may need concerning a soil.
Okay. So you get the nitty-gritties. Moving from there, now you've done your soil test. What next as a farmer? Is it filling the gaps? Because essentially this it gives you the breakdown. This is your soil at the end of the day. So is there, of course you're an agronomist, at least now you're seeing the bigger picture. After the soil test, how do you advise a farmer to move?
After the soil test, there are two parts. There are the results and then the report from the results. For the report, if the farmer is not conversant with the report, personally, I'll take myself to the farmer, or we are going to liaise with the farmer. I'm going to do the interpretation, tell him or her, your soil needs this, your soil is okay here, your soil this and that.
So once that is done, for the farmer, and from your observation, following up with the farmers, are a lot of farmers compromising to take chance, since for starters, not many are doing soil tests.
True.
So I'm pretty sure when you've gone for a test and you're being told, okay, now you need this particular nutrient and that particular nutrient, and you're wondering, okay, do I really need to do this? And I can see maize growing on the other side. Somebody who's not done anything, even not the soil test. So talk to me, for the farmer to be able to benefit from this breakdown of soil tests and whatnot. Is it always towards finding the nutrients to fill that, or are there practices also that you recommend to these farmers to say, hey, by the way, you can plant beans, maybe it will introduce more nitrogen, some of those interventions?
Before we even do the soil test, I'll do a pre-sensitization. I'll tell the farmer, if you're going to find a soil like this, we're going to do this. If you're going to find this, that. So after the results are here, we are with them here. Some crops, they do well with different levels of nutrients. Some do with pH that are slightly above the optimum level. And for that, you need to be there to explain to the farmer that this is what you can do. You cannot maybe do beans here. You need to add a bit of lime here because this soil is a bit acidic. You need to do and such.
Okay. So there is the sort of advisory that you offer to these farmers. If a farmer is to follow your advice, they do a soil test, they take your recommendations in terms of filling the gaps within their soils. What will be the result of that? What have you noticed? Sometimes we promise, we say, by the way, when you fill these gaps, trust you me, if you're making 20 bags from this piece of land, it's going to double to 40, in terms of productivity. Talk to me about the impact of a farmer embracing soil test and interventions that are recommended as a solution. What is normally the impact, especially on the output side?
That's a very nice question. I'm experiencing farmers, especially from the Kericho side. They're doing some coffee. And as I was saying, they have organized themselves into groups. And for that, they are having issues with even productivity. You find the coffee tree is so, when you look at it, it's so malnutritionate. But when you sensitize them, they take they follow whatever you're saying, They do tests. You recommend which fertilizers to use. Is it calcimic or dolomitic? When they follow that, we are experiencing even the farmers themselves. I'm supposed to be doing the follow-up, but the farmer is calling, hey, thank you. I'm seeing things. I'm seeing good things. So if each and every farmer could onboard, we'll be having a better productive region. And people will come taking notes from us.
Definitely. Very, very important. There's also a region, I've seen this in the sugar belt, where when you're planting sugarcane, you do the first tranche, maybe 24 months or thereabout, and then once you harvest, there is another one that comes. I can't remember, that one is, I think, at 18 months you can sort of harvest it. What are some of the farming practices that we do that are maybe traditionally they've been practiced, and it's a normal, a day-to-day when we're handling our crops, but they are not very healthy for our soils?
There are a lot of things that even commercial farmers are doing it. Like, they have come up with a program. It has become a norm. They know at this hour I irrigate this place. At this hour I irrigate this place. For that, you're finding that maybe when you are irrigating the next time, the water or the soil was already moist and it needs no more water. That's why I'm recommending just do precision farming. Precision farming is doing it when it is very necessary. Not doing it because you always do it. Do it because it is supposed to be done at that particular time.
So you're saying, even before we come deeper into the precision farming thing, you're saying that water is bad for the soil?
No.
Extreme watering. When you're watering your farm, you feel good. I've supplied water. Sometimes it can be harmful, though.
You see, we want to minimize the inputs to maximize our profits. You see, if we come up with a program whereby I'm doing something we call precision farming. Precision farming, it's not that I'm not watering, or it's not that I'm watering a lot. I'm just watering it when it is so necessary. If, for example, I'm having a farm right here, I'm not going, for example, there's an application whereby it uses satellite technology and it detects where there are deficiencies on your farm. Not that because it is the start of the season, you do lime. No. That one is you're just wasting the available resources, which you could have saved it. Make sure you maximize your profits.
Okay. That's kind of interesting, precision farming. So you are having a satellite right on your farm. Then it's analyzing what exactly is going on there. Does it even analyze the soil from up there from space?
So what it does, it uses not all parameters, especially the nutrient bit of it, but for the moisture bit of it, you're going to know that your soil is at least not having water. It is having water stress. And you need to do a bit of irrigation. Not irrigation every now and then.
Okay.
Irrigation is not bad. It's very nice, actually. But make sure you minimize your inputs, and then you make sure you maximize your outputs.
And how many people are utilizing this precision farming tool and practice?
We are having farmers in Narok, Kericho, and also I'm also sensitizing the farmers around Central for them to do the precision farming. It's basically what I'm going to do, or what I'm doing to your farm. I'm going to map your farm, and from that farm, you're going to pay me something. Then I'm going to unlock the application, and then so you're going to know whereby there are holes in your farm.
That's kind of interesting. We keep mentioning one of the dire statistics. I think even our viewers, long-time viewers, are wondering. You keep mentioning that. We always say the average age of a farmer, at least at a production level, is pretty mature. 60 years. That was the figure that was going around, and many factors to it. Of course, many young people are coming into farming.
True.
And changing that narrative. But in terms of tech adoption, like precision farming, utilizing satellites, do you face a lot of skepticism when you go to the ground and say, by the way, you can utilize satellite to help you with your farm here, with your maize and guashes?
For that, you have to make sure you approach the farmer in a very nice way, a very polite way. You have to tell him or her, do you have a smartphone? If you get one, I'm going to put that application into your phone. We are going to do this and this. You do not have to walk every day, or you do not have to take long walks, even maybe it's probably very sunny, you're very old. Just look at your phone. This block of mine doesn't have water. Just walk to that block. Do what you're supposed to do there.
Okay.
True.
That's very interesting. Very interesting. And as we come to a close, as we near the end of this conversation, you've talked about technology. Right now, part and parcel of how we treat soil and technology, apart from testing, it's in the tilling. It's how we treat the soil. Do you think tech has also advanced in that area to better till, to better handle the soil, as opposed to how we've done it previously?
I think so. There are very many technologies coming up. I'm sure you know about drone spraying. Apart from that, we are having robots doing the farming. It's something that we are looking, it's right there, and we are going to reach there. We want to make sure we are making data-informed decisions. Not just making decisions. We are doing this because of this, not just making decisions.
Okay. That's very important. Crop and farm management at the end of the day also seems to be critical, because we've always been advised, do not overutilize the soil. Maybe the same product, you're farming a particular product at a particular land for over and over. There is waste to that. Just help us understand from an agronomical point of view. If at all you are having a farm with different products, how are you supposed to handle that so that also the soil is not punished, but there is a level of balance the way you are rotating these crops? Is that part of healthy way of utilizing the soil?
Yeah, it is. There's what we call harrowing. You leave your land to rest. The land sometimes I think of soil as a machine or something that needs to rest. In advanced places or regions, they even leave their soils for 4 years for them to rest. And you see, if you had mentioned about your founders a land that has a lot of trees and such, that land is referred to as a virgin land. When you leave your soil or land for a long period, it is going to become a virgin again.
Okay.
Just to say. And from there, your soil, at least for the nutrients, we are going to say they have replenished.
Okay.
And for that, it's still a method of, it's a good farming method, and not all farmers or stakeholders have embraced it, but it is a very nice method you can use to make sure you're preserving the soil structure and soil fertility.
Okay. Very, very important. Fantas, I think this is a very important conversation that we've had, and we need to continue having it because our soils are critical to food security that we keep talking about. If we take care of the soils will take care of us, as you've rightly put. And I really appreciate you making time to speak to Farm Kenya. Thank you.
I'm grateful.
So, asante sana. So there you go. That is Fantas Maura, and he's an agronomist, and he says that first and foremost is that you have to test your soil, understand what is in your soil, okay? Then thereafter, you can be advised on how now to properly add to the soil what is missing, to make sure that its productivity is up to par. But there are other aspects of technology that you can utilize, precision farming, utilizing satellite to make sure that your land is well taken care of. And lastly, the farming practices that we have. For example, if you're able to let your land breathe, you know, you do this season, then let that land breathe. Also, that gives and adds life to the soil. So that's been our soily discussion, very clean at it. Thank you very much for being part of it. My name is Nokip Kimboy. This is Farm Kenya. Keep it KTN. We are out.
Unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima kuwa mshindi.